I stood in my parents' driveway at 11 p.m., my daughter Madison's graduation cap, still in my trembling hands, while my mother's cruel words echoed in my mind. "Cancel the party, Julius. Your nephew deserves the spotlight this weekend, not her." The porch light flickers as my father nods in agreement, and I realize that after 35 years of being the forgotten son, tonight was the final straw. I look at Madison sleeping in the passenger seat, her valedictorian medal glinting in the moonlight, and make a decision that will change everything. Growing up as the middle child between Derek and my younger sister Sarah felt like living in perpetual shadow. Derek, 3 years older, commanded every room he entered with his athletic prowess and magnetic charm. I still remember Christmas morning when I was 12, watching Derek unwrap a brand new mountain bike while I received his outgrown 10-speed with wobbly wheels and rusted chains. When Derek scored the winning touchdown at homecoming, our parents threw him a celebration dinner at the country club. When I graduated summa cum laude from high school, they took us to Dennis and spent the entire meal discussing Derek's upcoming college football tryouts. Sarah, 5 years younger, became the protected princess who could do no wrong. Between Derek's achievements and Sarah's charm, I learned early that my accomplishments meant little unless they somehow reflected glory on my siblings. My academic honors went unnoticed, while Derek's mediocre grades were excused as the price of athletic excellence. My perfect attendance awards gathered dust while Sarah's finger paintings decorated the refrigerator for months. The pattern continued into adulthood with suffocating predictability. I built a steady career as a mid-level insurance adjuster, married my college sweetheart Emma after a 4-year courtship, and raised our daughter Madison with consistent love and support. We lived quietly in our modest 3-bedroom ranch house on Maple Street, maintaining our lawn, paying our bills on time, and attending Madison's school events without fanfare or drama. Derek, meanwhile, married Ashley during a whirlwind courtship after college and opened an auto repair shop with money borrowed from 3 different relatives. His business struggled from the beginning, but our parents praised his entrepreneurial spirit while dismissing my stable employment as playing it safe. Derek's son Connor became their golden grandchild, receiving lavish Christmas gifts, college fund contributions, and constant attention that Madison never experienced, despite her superior academic performance. For 15 years, I watched this favoritism play out with resigned acceptance. Madison learned early not to expect equal treatment from her grandparents. She stopped asking why Connor received expensive electronics while she got practical clothing. She stopped mentioning her honor roll achievements when Connor's mediocre report cards dominated family conversations. Emma and I compensated by celebrating Madison's successes privately, creating our own traditions and recognition ceremonies that meant more to our daughter than any family gathering. Madison's graduation from Riverside High School as valedictorian represented the culmination of 17 years of dedication and intelligence. Her acceptance to Stanford University with partial academic scholarships made me prouder than any personal achievement I'd ever experienced. For 3 weeks, I planned her graduation celebration with meticulous care, booking the community center on Elm Street, ordering catering from Romano's Italian restaurant, and sending invitations to 43 family members and friends. My parents seemed genuinely supportive during the planning stages. My mother helped select decorations, suggesting white and gold balloons to match Madison's school colors. My father offered to contribute toward the catering costs, though I politely declined, preferring to handle the expenses myself. Even Derek expressed enthusiasm about celebrating his niece's accomplishments, asking detailed questions about the menu and guest list. Everything changed that Saturday morning when Derek called our parents before dawn, complaining that Connor was experiencing emotional difficulties after dropping out of community college the previous month. Derek convinced them that Connor needed family support and suggested hosting a celebration dinner for him the same evening as Madison's party, forcing relatives to choose between events. While arranging white roses and gold streamers in the community center's main hall, I overheard my parents discussing Derek's financial situation on their cell phones in the parking lot. Their conversation revealed a shocking truth I'd never suspected. They'd been providing Derek with $5,000 monthly for the past 2 years to prevent his auto shop from bankruptcy. They'd never offered Emma and me a single dollar toward Madison's college expenses, forcing us to take out a second mortgage on our house to cover Stanford's remaining tuition costs. The revelation hit me like physical violence. While Derek received unconditional financial support for his failing business, Madison worked part-time at the local library and applied for dozens of scholarships to afford her education. While Connor enjoyed funded leisure time, Madison studied late into every night to maintain her perfect grade point average. The disparity wasn't just unfair. It was deliberately cruel. I confronted my parents in their familiar kitchen, surrounded by photos of Derek's football trophies and Connor's baseball team pictures. Madison's academic achievement certificates were nowhere visible among the displayed memorabilia. My mother defended their financial assistance to Derek by claiming his business served the entire community's automotive needs, while Madison's college education only benefited our immediate family. Derek's struggles affect everyone, my mother stated coldly, washing dishes with mechanical precision. Madison can celebrate her graduation next weekend instead. Connor needs emotional support right now more than Madison needs attention for something she's already accomplished. My father nodded agreement while reading his newspaper, never making eye contact during the conversation. Your brother's situation is more urgent, Julius. Madison will have plenty of opportunities for recognition at college. Connor might not get another chance to feel valued by his family. Standing in that kitchen, surrounded by evidence of lifelong favoritism, I finally understood that my parents viewed my family as expendable compared to Derek's ongoing drama. Madison's genuine achievements mattered less than Connor's manufactured crisis. Emma's 15 years of quiet support for family gatherings meant nothing compared to Derek's demands for constant attention and resources. The confrontation escalated when my father revealed the full scope of Derek's manipulation. Derek had specifically requested that our parents force the family to choose between events, claiming that Julia's family always receives attention because Madison consistently excelled academically. Derek convinced them that Connor needed emotional validation after his college setback. More than Madison deserved recognition for her predictable success. Derek feels Madison's achievements make Connor look inadequate by comparison, my father explained while adjusting his reading glasses. He thinks you deliberately push Madison to outperform Connor, making our grandson feel stupid and worthless. Derek suggested we balance things out by prioritizing Connor's emotional needs this one time. The accusation was breathtakingly absurd. Madison earned her achievements through personal dedication and natural intelligence, while Connor barely graduated high school and dropped out of community college after 6 weeks of poor attendance. It never encouraged competition between the cousins. Madison succeeded because Emma and I supported her academic interests, while Derek discouraged Connor's educational pursuits in favor of manual labor at the auto shop. Derek believes you're trying to make him look like a bad father, my mother added, scrubbing an already clean countertop with unnecessary force. He thinks Madison's college acceptance is your way of showing off your superior parenting skills. This dinner for Connor is our chance to prove we value both grandchildren equally. Madison overheard the conversation from the hallway and entered the kitchen with tears streaming down her cheeks. My 17-year-old daughter, who'd never asked for anything more than basic support and recognition, broke down completely upon learning her own grandparents considered her success a threat to family harmony. I always suspected they liked Connor better, Madison whispered, clutching her graduation cap against her chest. They attended every single one of his baseball games, even when he was benched for the entire season. They missed my honor society inductions, my academic award ceremonies, and my piano recitals. When Connor turned 16, they bought him a $2,000 used Honda Civic. For my 16th birthday, they gave me a $50 gift card to Target. Madison's voice cracked as she recounted years of subtle but consistent favoritism. They asked Connor about his future plans constantly, offering advice and encouragement even though he has no direction whatsoever. They never asked me about Stanford, my intended major, or my career goals. When I mentioned my academic achievements, they changed the subject to Connor's latest job or girlfriend. I stopped trying to impress them years ago because nothing I accomplish matters to them. Emma arrived at my parents' house just as Madison finished speaking, and my normally peaceful wife transformed into a force of righteous fury. Shed tolerated years of gentle slights and subtle discrimination, but hearing Madison's pain unleashed 15 years of suppressed anger. You've prioritized Derek's family for decades while treating Julius like an afterthought, Emma declared, her voice trembling with controlled rage. You've missed Madison's piano recitals because Derek needed emergency babysitting. You've canceled family dinners because Derek required immediate emotional support. You've given Connor expensive Christmas gifts while giving Madison practical household items. You've funded Derek's failing business while never offering to help with Madison's college expenses. Emma listed specific incidents I'd forgotten but Shed carefully cataloged, Connor's graduation party at the expensive steakhouse versus Madison's honor roll celebration at McDonald's. Connor's bedroom redecorating project funded by his grandparents versus Madison's furniture purchased from garage sales. Connor's emergency car repairs immediately covered versus Madison's broken laptop requiring months of saving to replace. Derek's family gets unlimited financial and emotional support, while Julia's family gets criticism and neglect. Emma continued, tears mixing with anger. You've taught Madison that her accomplishments don't matter because she's not the favorite grandchild. You've shown Julius that his stability and success mean nothing compared to Derek's chaos and drama. My mother pulled me aside for a private conversation that delivered the ultimate betrayal. Derek had approached them the previous week with a shocking proposal. Connor needed stability and structure, so they should offer him Madison's room at their house permanently. Derek suggested Madison could commute to Stanford from home to save money, giving her bedroom to Connor, who deserved a chance to rebuild his life in a supportive environment. Connor is 19 and struggling to find direction, my mother explained, as if offering my daughter's bedroom to my nephew was perfectly reasonable. Madison is academically gifted and will succeed anywhere. We thought she might appreciate saving money on dormitory costs while helping her cousin get back on his feet. The proposal encapsulated everything wrong with my family's dynamics. Connor's failure earned him rewards and accommodation, while Madison's success earned her sacrifice and displacement. Derek's son deserved comfort and support, while my daughter deserved reduction and compromise. Even Madison's college experience should be diminished to benefit Connor's need for emotional validation. I packed Madison's graduation gifts into our car while my parents stood helplessly in their driveway, finally beginning to understand the consequences of their favoritism. Neighbors arrived for Connor's celebration dinner as we drove away, their curious stares following our hasty departure from the family gathering. Madison fell asleep during the drive home, emotionally exhausted from confronting years of accumulated pain and disappointment. Emma held my hand tightly, offering silent support for the decision we both knew would permanently alter our relationship with my extended family. I drove through the quiet suburban streets of our neighborhood, realizing that protecting my daughter's dignity mattered more than maintaining family peace. The immediate aftermath of walking away from my parents' house brought unexpected relief mixed with profound sadness. I stopped answering my mother's daily phone calls, which began apologetic but quickly turned demanding as she insisted I was overreacting to a simple misunderstanding. Derek left increasingly angry voicemails blaming me for ruining Connor's special evening and accusing me of turning family members against each other. "You're being dramatic and selfish, Julius," Derek's voice snarled through my answering machine. Connor was devastated that his own uncle couldn't support him during his difficult time. "Mom and Dad are heartbroken that you chose pride over family loyalty. Madison will understand when she's older that sometimes personal sacrifice benefits the greater good." Emma blocked Derek's number after he called her office, demanding she convince me to apologize and restore family harmony. Madison initially felt guilty about causing family division, until Emma gently explained that she'd done nothing wrong and that healthy families celebrate each other's achievements rather than competing for limited attention and resources. The following weekend, I used our community center deposit to throw Madison an even more elaborate celebration than originally planned. Without family drama and competing loyalties, the event became genuinely magical. Madison's friends arrived dressed beautifully, her teachers attended with genuine pride in her accomplishments, and Emma's family created a warm, supportive atmosphere that highlighted everything our celebration should have been originally. Madison gave an impromptu speech thanking Emma and me for consistently believing in her potential and supporting her dreams without conditions or comparisons. She spoke about Stanford with excitement rather than anxiety, describing her intended double major in economics and political science with confidence that made my chest swell with pride. Her friends applauded enthusiastically. Her teachers offered encouragement for her future studies, and Emma's relatives asked thoughtful questions about her academic interests and career aspirations. "I used to think I needed everyone's approval to feel successful," Madison told the gathered guests, her voice clear and strong. "Tonight, I learned that the right people's support matters more than widespread acceptance. I'd rather have a few people who genuinely celebrate my achievements than many people who tolerate them reluctantly." 3 weeks after Madison's celebration, I handled a complex insurance claim for Westfield Industries involving flood damage to their main production facility. The claim required delicate negotiation between multiple parties, detailed damage assessment coordination, and creative problem-solving to minimize business interruption costs while ensuring complete coverage compliance. Patricia Stone, Westfield's Chief Executive Officer, personally oversaw the claims process because of the potential financial impact on company operations. During our meetings, she noticed my calm professionalism despite obvious personal stress from the ongoing family situation it briefly mentioned during initial conversations. You compartmentalize personal difficulties remarkably well, Patricia observed during our final settlement meeting. Most people allow family drama to affect their professional judgment, but you've maintained complete focus on delivering excellent service despite your circumstances. That level of emotional maturity is rare in claims adjustment work. Patricia offered me a senior claims manager position at Westfield's corporate headquarters with a salary increase of $28,000 annually, plus comprehensive benefits and stock options. The promotion included oversight responsibilities for 5 junior adjusters and direct reporting to Patricia herself, rather than my current middle management structure. We need someone who can handle high-pressure situations without emotional volatility, Patricia explained while reviewing my offer letter. Your ability to separate personal stress from professional performance impressed our entire executive team. We believe you have leadership potential that your current position doesn't fully utilize. My new position at Westfield introduced me to influential business contacts throughout the metropolitan area. I attended networking events, industry conferences, and professional development workshops, where successful executives shared stories of overcoming family obstacles and toxic relationships that hindered their career advancement. Robert Chen, a senior vice president at Meridian Financial, described cutting contact with manipulative relatives who constantly demanded money and emotional energy while contributing nothing positive to his life. Jennifer Walsh, Chief Operating Officer at Summit Technologies, explained how establishing boundaries with her dysfunctional siblings allowed her to focus completely on building her career and raising her children without constant drama and interference. Successful people surround themselves with supporters, not detractors, Robert explained during a Rotary Club luncheon. Family members who undermine your confidence or drain your resources aren't helping you succeed. They're preventing you from reaching your potential. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is protect yourself and your immediate family from people who refuse to respect your boundaries. These conversations reinforced my decision to prioritize my nuclear family's well-being over extended family dynamics that consistently damaged our peace and progress. I realized that without my parents' emotional manipulation and Derek's constant drama, I was achieving career heights that seemed impossible while managing family conflicts and resentment. Emma noticed the change in my demeanor and energy level almost immediately. "You seem lighter somehow," she observed one evening while we watched Madison practice her Stanford orientation presentation. "Like you've been carrying invisible weight for years and finally set it down. You're more confident at work, more present at home, and more optimistic about our future." I received my first major promotion in 8 years and realized that removing toxic family influences hadn't weakened my support system. It had strengthened my ability to build positive relationships with people who genuinely respected and appreciated my contributions to their lives and work. 11 months after walking away from my parents' house, Connor appeared unexpectedly at Westfield Industries' corporate headquarters on a Tuesday afternoon in late spring. The security guard called my office to announce that my nephew was requesting a meeting, and I found Connor waiting in the marble lobby looking significantly different from the confident young man I remembered from family gatherings. Connor had lost at least 20 pounds from his already slender frame, making his clothes hang loosely around his shoulders and waist. Dark circles shadowed his eyes, and his normally neat brown hair looked unkempt and unwashed. His hands trembled slightly as he stood to greet me, and I noticed calluses and small cuts covering his fingers from manual labor. "Uncle Julius, I hope you don't mind me showing up without calling first," Connor said quietly, his voice lacking the casual confidence Head always displayed during family events. "Dad doesn't know I'm here, and I need to talk to someone who isn't involved in all the family drama. You're the only person I trust to give me honest advice." We talked in my office conference room, overlooking the downtown business district through floor-to-ceiling windows that revealed the bustling professional world I'd joined since leaving my family's dysfunction behind. Connor explained that Head been working 2 jobs for the past 9 months to help Derek save his failing auto repair business. 40 hours weekly at the shop, plus weekend shifts at a warehouse distribution center. I dropped out of community college because Dad convinced me that education was a luxury our family couldn't afford while his business was struggling, Connor admitted, staring at his hands rather than making eye contact. He said family loyalty meant more than personal goals, and that I could always return to school after we stabilized the shop's finances. That was almost a year ago, and things have only gotten worse. Connor revealed that Derek had pressured him to abandon his original plan of studying mechanical engineering at the state university, claiming that practical work experience at the family business was more valuable than classroom theory. Derek convinced Connor that college was for people who couldn't handle real-world responsibilities, and that working at the auto shop would provide better job security than any degree program. Dad made me feel selfish for wanting to continue my education when he needed help with the business, Connor continued, his voice growing stronger as he spoke. He said Madison could afford to focus on academics because you had money and stability. But our family needed everyone working together to survive financially. I believed him because I wanted to help, and I didn't want to seem ungrateful for everything Head done for me. The truth about Derek's graduation night manipulation emerged as Connor described the weeks leading up to Madison's celebration. Derek had felt increasingly threatened by Madison's academic achievements and my apparent financial stability, so he orchestrated the family conflict to prove he still controlled family priorities and attention. Dad specifically chose Madison's graduation night for my dinner because he wanted to test whether Grandma and Grandpa would choose his side over yours, Connor explained with obvious shame. He didn't care about my emotional needs or college struggles. He wanted to demonstrate his influence over family decisions and make you look selfish for prioritizing your daughter's celebration over his crisis management. Derek had spent weeks convincing our parents that Madison's success made Connor feel inadequate and worthless, suggesting that my family was showing off while his family struggled with real problems. Derek portrayed Madison's achievements as my attempt to humiliate him by comparison, claiming that I deliberately pushed my daughter to excel academically to prove my superior parenting skills. Dad told Grandma and Grandpa that your family got too much attention and praise while our family dealt with serious financial and emotional difficulties, Connor continued, his voice filled with disgust. He made them believe that supporting my fake celebration was their chance to prove they cared about our family's well-being as much as Madison's accomplishments. Connor's revelation about Derek's financial situation was even more disturbing than Id suspected. The auto repair business was failing catastrophically, with Derek behind on rent payments, equipment lease costs, and employee wages. Our parents' monthly $5,000 support barely covered basic operating expenses, while Derek secretly accumulated massive gambling debts. Dad has been driving to the casino 3 nights each week, trying to win enough money to save the business and pay off his creditors, Connor explained with obvious pain. Has lost our parents' money, the business income, and Ashley's inheritance from her grandmother. Mom filed for separation last month after discovering Dad forged her signature on several loan applications without her knowledge. Derek had hidden the extent of his gambling addiction and financial crimes from everyone except Connor, who'd discovered betting receipts and loan documents while organizing business paperwork. Connor felt responsible for keeping Derek's secrets because Derek threatened to abandon the family business entirely if Connor revealed the truth to Ashley or our parents. Dad made me promise not to tell anyone about his gambling because he said it would destroy the family and leave us with nothing, Connor said, tears beginning to form in his eyes. He convinced me that our financial problems were temporary setbacks that would resolve themselves if everyone remained loyal and supportive. I worked extra shifts to help cover expenses while he spent money we couldn't afford on poker games and slot machines. Connor's gradual realization of Derek's manipulation and my genuine success had created an internal conflict he could no longer ignore. Head initially resented my apparent achievements and stable lifestyle, believing Derek's claims that I was showing off while his family struggled with real difficulties. However, months of observing Derek's behavior and hearing stories about my professional advancement had changed Connor's perspective completely. I started paying attention to how you built your success compared to how Dad handles problems, Connor admitted, finally making direct eye contact. You work consistently, save money responsibly, and support Madison's goals without demanding credit or recognition. Dad creates drama, blames others for his failures, and expects constant praise for basic responsibilities. You earned everything through honest effort, while Dad manipulates people into supporting his poor decisions. Connor asked for career advice and mentorship, admitting that he wanted to escape Derek's control and build an independent life based on merit, rather than manipulation. Had begun questioning every aspect of Derek's guidance after witnessing the contrast between our family's steady progress and his family's ongoing chaos and dysfunction. "I want to go back to school and study engineering like I originally planned," Connor said with determination. "I want to earn my achievements instead of receiving handouts. I want to build relationships based on mutual respect instead of guilt and obligation. I want to become the kind of man Madison can respect, not the kind of person who needs constant emotional support for basic adulting responsibilities." Standing in my office conference room, watching Connor struggle with the realization that his father had sabotaged his education and future prospects, I understood that this conversation represented the vindication I'd never expected to receive. The favorite grandson was recognizing that I'd chosen the right path while Derek had led his family toward destruction through selfishness and poor judgment. Derek discovered Connor's visits to my office through obsessive surveillance that revealed the depth of his paranoia and desperation. Had become suspicious when Connor's attitude improved and his work ethic strengthened following our conversations, correctly suspecting that outside influence was undermining his control over his son's perspective and future plans. Derek followed Connor after work one Thursday evening, trailing him from the warehouse distribution center to Westfield Industries' parking garage. He confronted Connor violently in the stairwell, grabbing him by the shoulders and demanding explanations for his improved confidence and apparent optimism about his future prospects. "What lies has Julius been filling your head with?" Derek shouted, his voice echoing through the concrete stairwell. "Has he convinced you that your own father doesn't care about your well-being? Has he promised you some fancy corporate job to steal you away from our family business? Has he told you that education is more important than loyalty to the people who sacrificed everything to raise you?" Connor stood his ground despite Derek's physical intimidation, calmly explaining that I'd offered perspective and encouragement rather than criticism of Derek's parenting or business management. He described our conversations about career planning, educational opportunities, and personal responsibility without revealing Derek's gambling addiction or financial crimes. "Uncle Julius treats me like an adult capable of making intelligent decisions," Connor replied with dignity. "He doesn't demand loyalty or gratitude. He offers support and guidance. He doesn't blame others for his problems or expect constant praise for basic responsibilities. He built success through honest work and smart planning, not manipulation and emotional blackmail." Derek's rage intensified when Connor refused to promise ending his relationship with me or returning to the auto shop full-time. Derek accused me of stealing his son and destroying family unity for selfish purposes, claiming that I was using Connor to get revenge against him for the graduation night incident. "Julius has always resented my success and popularity," Derek declared, his voice filled with delusional conviction. "Has jealous that Mom and Dad love me more than him, so has trying to turn you against me to hurt our family. He doesn't care about your future. He just wants to prove that he's a better father than me by stealing my son's affection and respect." That evening, Ashley called me in tears from her sister's apartment where she'd been staying since filing for separation from Derek. She revealed financial documents proving Derek had been forging her signature on loan applications and credit card accounts for the past 18 months, accumulating debts of over $80,000 in her name without her knowledge or consent. "Derek spent our parents' monthly support money on casino gambling instead of business expenses," Ashley explained through sobs. "Has been lying about everything: the shop's income, our family's financial situation, and Connor's college fund that never actually existed. I discovered bank statements showing Derek withdrew Connor's graduation money to pay gambling debts 3 months ago." Ashley had known about Derek's lies and financial crimes for several months, but feared leaving because Derek threatened to turn our parents against her if she exposed his behavior. Derek convinced her that family loyalty meant protecting him from consequences while he worked to resolve their financial difficulties through gambling winnings and family support. "Derek told me that you were trying to destroy our marriage by filling Connor's head with ideas about independence and education," Ashley continued, her voice growing stronger with anger. "He claimed you were encouraging Connor to abandon his family responsibilities to pursue selfish goals that wouldn't benefit anyone except Connor himself. Derek made me believe that you were the problem, not his gambling and lying." Ashley presented her evidence to our parents the following Saturday, during what she thought would be a supportive family meeting. She brought bank statements, loan documents, and casino receipts proving Derek's gambling addiction and financial fraud, expecting our parents to demand accountability and force Derek into treatment programs. Instead, our parents refused to accept Ashley's documentation, or believe her accusations against their golden son. They dismissed her evidence as misunderstandings or temporary setbacks that didn't reflect Derek's true character or intentions. They accused Ashley of exaggerating Derek's problems to gain sympathy, and suggested that financial difficulties were normal challenges that committed spouses should handle privately. Derek is under tremendous stress from business pressures and family conflicts, my mother explained, while barely glancing at Ashley's financial records. Men sometimes make poor decisions when they feel overwhelmed by responsibilities. Ashley should support Derek through this difficult period instead of airing family problems to people who can't help solve them. My father blamed me for Derek's current struggles, claiming that my withdrawal from family activities had created emotional instability that affected Derek's judgment and decision-making abilities. He suggested that Derek's gambling was a stress response to losing his brother's support during challenging times. Julius abandoned Derek when Derek needed family support the most, my father declared, folding his arms across his chest defensively. Derek's problems started when Julius chose pride over family loyalty. If Julius had been a better brother, Derek wouldn't have felt desperate enough to gamble with family money. Our parents doubled down on their financial support for Derek, giving him their entire retirement savings account balance of $43,000 to save the business despite Ashley's warnings about Derek's gambling addiction and proven dishonesty. They refused to require Derek to enter treatment programs or submit to financial oversight as conditions for receiving additional family assistance. Connor attended the family meeting at Ashley's request and publicly defended my influence on his life and career planning. He told our parents directly that Derek had been lying about business finances, manipulating family relationships, and sabotaging Connor's educational opportunities to maintain control over his son's future. Uncle Julius didn't steal me from Dad. Dad drove me away with dishonesty and selfishness, Connor announced with courage that impressed everyone present. Uncle Julius treats me with respect and encourages my goals. Dad manipulates me with guilt and threatens to abandon me if I don't obey his demands. Uncle Julius built his success through hard work. Dad destroys everything he touches through poor choices and blame shifting. Connor revealed Derek's manipulation of the graduation night conflict, explaining how Derek had orchestrated the family crisis to prove his continued control over family priorities and attention. He described Derek's pressure to abandon college education in favor of supporting the failing auto shop, and Derek's threats to disown Connor if he pursued independent goals. Dad doesn't want me to succeed because my achievements would prove that his guidance was wrong, Connor continued with increasing confidence. He needs me to fail so he can blame external circumstances, instead of accepting responsibility for his poor decisions. Uncle Julius wants me to succeed because he believes success is possible through effort and planning. Derek arrived at our parents' house during Connor's speech and immediately demanded that our parents choose between supporting him or maintaining any relationship with my family. He threatened to cut off all contact with our parents, take Connor away from everyone, and expose family secrets if they continued enabling my alleged manipulation of family relationships. Choose right now, Derek commanded, his face red with fury and desperation. Support your son, who has always been loyal to this family, or support Julius, who abandoned us when we needed him most. Connor is my son, and I won't let Julius steal him with false promises and fake concern for his welfare. The battle lines were drawn for a final confrontation that would determine whether truth or manipulation would prevail in our family's future relationships. Instead of engaging Derek's dramatic ultimatum with anger or defensive arguments, I chose a response that demonstrated the power of quiet success over loud manipulation. 3 days after Derek's confrontation at our parents' house, I invited the entire extended family to a housewarming party at the beautiful 4-bedroom colonial home Emma and I had purchased in Westridge, the most desirable school district in our metropolitan area. The invitation included an announcement that Madison had received a full academic scholarship to Stanford University, covering tuition, room, board, and textbooks for 4 years, valued at over $200,000. Additionally, it'd been promoted to Vice President of Claims Operations at Westfield Industries, with a salary increase that nearly doubled our household income and included comprehensive benefits plus stock options. We wanted to share our good news with family members who matter to us. The invitation stated simply, Madison's scholarship represents years of hard work and dedication that we're proud to celebrate with people who value education and achievement. My promotion reflects professional growth that's possible when you focus on solutions rather than problems. The housewarming party showcased everything Derek claimed to want, but had never achieved through honest effort. Our new home featured hardwood floors, granite countertops, a finished basement recreation room, and a landscaped backyard with a deck perfect for entertaining. Emma had decorated tastefully with artwork from local galleries and furniture saved carefully to purchase over several months. Madison moved through the party with confidence and grace, discussing her Stanford orientation schedule with Emma's relatives and describing her intended double major to family friends who asked thoughtful questions about her academic interests. She wore a simple blue dress that highlighted her natural beauty and intelligence, without pretension or arrogance. I'm excited about studying economics and political science because I want to understand how policy decisions affect real families. Madison explained to a group of Emma's cousins who worked in various professional fields. My parents taught me that education opens opportunities to help solve problems rather than just complain about them. I hope to work in public policy or nonprofit management after graduation. Connor arrived at the party with Ashley, who had agreed to let him attend despite Derek's objections. Connor wore khakis and a button-down shirt Id helped him select during a shopping trip the previous weekend, and he carried himself with dignity and purpose that reflected his decision to pursue independence from Derek's manipulation. I've enrolled in community college for the fall semester to complete my general education requirements, Connor announced to gathered relatives. Uncle Julius helped me understand that education isn't selfish, it's responsible. I want to transfer to the state university and study mechanical engineering like I originally planned before I got distracted by other priorities. Emma circulated through the party, serving appetizers and engaging guests in conversations that revealed her natural warmth and intelligence. Shed started her own consulting business, specializing in small business financial planning, building a client base through networking and referrals from satisfied customers who appreciated her practical advice and ethical approach. I learned that helping honest business owners succeed gives me more satisfaction than supporting people who make poor decisions repeatedly, Emma explained to Patricia Stone, who had attended the party with her husband and teenage daughter. My clients value expertise and accountability instead of endless emotional support for self-created problems. Derek arrived uninvited during the party's peak attendance, drunk and desperate from a week of escalating business and personal failures. He pushed through the front door without knocking and immediately began shouting accusations at anyone who would listen, claiming that my success was built on selfishness and family betrayal. Look at this fancy house and expensive furniture, Derek slurred, gesturing wildly at our living room. Julius bought all this by abandoning his family when we needed support the most. Hez showing off while his brother's business collapses and his nephew suffers from broken promises and false hope. Derek stumbled into the kitchen, where Madison was serving cake to younger cousins, and he began a rambling speech about how her achievements were meaningless compared to Connor's potential. If only he received proper family support instead of educational bribes from his manipulative uncle. Madison's scholarship is just Julius' way of proving he's a better father than me, Derek announced loudly enough for everyone to hear. He pushed his daughter to excel academically, so he could humiliate me by comparison. Real families support each other through difficulties, instead of competing for individual recognition and personal advancement. Derek's public meltdown continued in the backyard, where he revealed the extent of his financial and personal failures to shocked relatives who had never heard the complete truth about his gambling addiction, business bankruptcy, or marriage dissolution. He admitted losing our parents' retirement money at poker tables while blaming everyone except himself for the consequences of his poor decisions. Ashley left me because she can't handle the stress of supporting a struggling business, Derek declared, tears mixing with alcohol-induced rage. Connor abandoned our family business because Julius filled his head with unrealistic expectations about college education and career advancement. Our parents wasted their retirement savings because Julius refused to help his own brother during temporary financial difficulties. Derek broke down completely, admitting that his business was permanently bankrupt, his marriage was irreparably damaged, and his relationship with Connor was destroyed by years of manipulation and dishonesty. He blamed me for every failure in his life while acknowledging that Id built success through methods had never tried: consistent work, honest relationships, and long-term planning. Julius has everything I wanted, Derek sobbed, collapsing into a patio chair. A successful career, a stable marriage, a brilliant daughter, and respect from people who matter. He earned it all through boring, responsible choices that I was too proud to make. I thought charm and manipulation would get me further than hard work and honesty. But I was wrong about everything. My parents witnessed Derek's complete breakdown and finally understood the truth about their golden child's character and the consequences of their decades of favoritism. They saw Derek's failures contrasted with my genuine achievements and realized that their support had enabled destructive behavior rather than encouraging positive growth. Instead of responding to Derek with anger or cruelty, I approached him with compassion and offered genuine help with specific conditions attached. I told him I would pay for gambling addiction treatment, help him find stable employment, and support his relationship with Connor if Derek took complete responsibility for his choices and committed to rebuilding trust through consistent actions rather than emotional manipulation. I want to help you succeed, Derek, but success requires accepting accountability and making difficult changes, I said quietly while kneeling beside his chair. I'll support your recovery and career rebuilding if you stop blaming others for your problems and start making decisions based on what's best for your family's long-term well-being rather than immediate gratification. Madison approached Derek with remarkable maturity and grace, offering him a piece of cake and speaking to him with kindness despite his cruel comments about her achievements and our family's values. Uncle Derek, I've never tried to make Connor feel bad about himself, Madison said gently. I hope you'll let Connor pursue his education because he's really smart and deserves the chance to build his own success. I'd be happy to help him with college applications and scholarship searches if he's interested. Connor hugged me in front of everyone and thanked me for showing him what genuine family support looked like compared to manipulation and control disguised as love and loyalty. Uncle Julius taught me that real family members encourage each other's dreams instead of demanding sacrifice for someone else's failures. Connor announced with confidence, I'm grateful Dad brought me here tonight because now everyone can see the difference between building people up and tearing them down. Derek finally left the party quietly, but our parents remained to help clean up and apologize sincerely for years of favoritism and poor judgment that had damaged both sons' relationship with their extended family. 6 months after the housewarming party confrontation, my family's transformation exceeded every expectation it dared imagine during those dark moments in my parents' driveway. Madison thrived at Stanford University, maintaining her perfect academic record while joining the debate team and volunteering at a local literacy program that helped immigrant families improve their English skills. Her phone calls home sparkled with excitement about constitutional law classes, economics research projects, and internship opportunities with nonprofit organizations focused on educational policy reform. Connor completed his first semester at community college with a 3.8 grade point average, earning academic recognition that filled him with justified pride and renewed confidence in his intellectual abilities. He worked part-time in Westfield Industries' mailroom under my indirect supervision, demonstrating punctuality, reliability, and eagerness to learn that impressed supervisors throughout the company. Connor's transformation from Derek's dependent victim to a self-directed young adult, pursuing meaningful goals, represented hope for our family's healing and growth. Emma's consulting business expanded rapidly through referrals from satisfied clients who appreciated her practical advice, ethical standards, and genuine concern for their success, rather than her own profit margins. She specialized in helping small business owners develop realistic budgets, improve cash flow management, and make strategic decisions based on accurate financial data rather than wishful thinking or emotional impulses. Emma's professional success complemented my corporate advancement, creating financial security that allowed us to support family members without compromising our own stability or future planning. Our marriage grew stronger through shared values and mutual respect, rather than obligation or convenience. Emma and I discovered that removing toxic family influences had revealed our authentic compatibility and common vision for raising Madison and supporting each other's professional ambitions. We spent evenings discussing literature, planning weekend adventures, and dreaming about early retirement, funded by consistent saving and smart investment decisions. Derek completed a 90-day gambling addiction treatment program at Riverside Recovery Center, attending daily counseling sessions and weekly support group meetings that helped him understand the underlying emotional issues that had driven his destructive behavior patterns. He worked as a mechanic at Murphy's Auto Service, earning hourly wages under close supervision that required accountability and prevented opportunities for financial manipulation or dishonest business practices. I spent years blaming everyone else for problems I created through selfishness and poor judgment, Derek admitted during a private conversation at a coffee shop near his apartment. I convinced myself that charm and manipulation were acceptable substitutes for hard work and honesty. I told myself that other people's success was unfair, while refusing to make the sacrifices necessary for genuine achievement. Derek's humility seemed genuine rather than strategic, reflecting months of therapy and honest self-examination that had forced him to confront uncomfortable truths about his character and behavior patterns. He acknowledged sabotaging Connor's education, manipulating family relationships, and wasting opportunities that many people never receive. Watching you build success through consistent effort while I destroyed everything through laziness and entitlement taught me that happiness comes from earning respect rather than demanding it. Derek continued, making direct eye contact for the first time in years. You protected Madison and Emma from my toxicity, while I exposed Connor and Ashley to chaos and dysfunction. You built something beautiful while I created nothing but problems and pain. Derek asked for genuine forgiveness and the chance to rebuild relationships based on mutual respect rather than guilt or obligation. He offered to make financial restitution for damages caused by his gambling and manipulation, though his current income limited his ability to repay debts immediately. Most importantly, Derek committed to supporting Connor's educational goals without interference or emotional manipulation. I want Connor to succeed because his achievements will prove that recovery and positive change are possible, Derek said with tears in his eyes. I hope Madison will consider me worthy of her respect someday, and I want to be the kind of brother who supports your family's happiness rather than threatening it with constant drama and demands. My parents underwent their own transformation through witnessing the consequences of decades of favoritism and poor judgment that had damaged relationships with both sons and their families. They attended family therapy sessions with a counselor who helped them understand how their preferential treatment had enabled Derek's destructive patterns while undermining my confidence and sense of family belonging. We created the problems we tried to fix, my mother acknowledged during a difficult but necessary conversation at their kitchen table. We gave Derek unlimited support that prevented him from learning accountability, while we criticized Julius for stability and success that threatened our comfortable narrative about Derek's superior character and potential. My parents apologized sincerely for missing Madison's achievements while celebrating Connor's mediocrity, for funding Derek's failures while ignoring my family's financial needs, and for demanding that I sacrifice my daughter's happiness to preserve Derek's emotional comfort. They asked to rebuild our relationship based on respect and appreciation, rather than obligation and resentment. Madison is an extraordinary young woman who deserves grandparents worthy of her accomplishments and character, my father admitted with obvious shame. We wasted years trying to build up Connor by diminishing Madison, when we should have celebrated both grandchildren for their unique strengths and potential. My parents established college funds for both Madison and Connor, contributing equal amounts that reflected their commitment to supporting education and achievement rather than playing favorites or rewarding emotional manipulation. They attended family gatherings as grateful guests rather than controlling hosts, allowing natural relationships to develop without forced interactions or artificial harmony. Connor graduated from community college with highest honors and transferred to State University to study mechanical engineering with a partial academic scholarship earned through consistent, excellent performance. He maintained his part-time position at Westfield Industries while completing his bachelor's degree, demonstrating work ethic and time management skills that impressed everyone who observed his transformation. Uncle Julius showed me that success comes from daily choices rather than dramatic gestures, Connor reflected during his community college graduation celebration. He taught me that real family members support each other's growth instead of demanding sacrifice for someone else's comfort. I want to build the kind of life that makes my children proud rather than requiring them to compensate for my failures. Connor's relationship with Derek improved gradually, as Derek proved his commitment to recovery and positive change through consistent actions rather than emotional promises. Connor set appropriate boundaries while offering encouragement for Derek's progress, modeling healthy family dynamics that benefited everyone involved. Standing in Stanford University's graduation ceremony 4 years later, watching Madison deliver the valedictorian address to thousands of proud family members, I reflected on the profound life lesson that walking away from toxicity had taught our entire family. Madison spoke eloquently about educational opportunity, social responsibility, and the importance of supporting others' dreams rather than competing for limited recognition or resources. My parents, Derek, Connor, Ashley, Emma, and I sat together in the audience, united in genuine pride for Madison's achievements and gratitude for second chances that allowed broken relationships to heal through accountability and mutual respect. Derek applauded enthusiastically for his niece's academic success. Connor beamed with pride for his accomplished cousin, and my parents wiped away tears of joy for the granddaughter they'd nearly lost through favoritism and poor judgment. Family means supporting each other's best selves rather than enabling destructive patterns. I realized while watching Madison accept her diploma with confidence and grace. Love sometimes requires setting boundaries that protect healthy relationships from toxic influences that prevent growth and happiness. The greatest gift I'd given my daughter wasn't protection from family conflict, but the example of choosing dignity over dysfunction when people demand that you compromise your values for their comfort. Madison learned that self-respect matters more than others' approval, that achievements earned through effort have more value than recognition gained through manipulation, and that healthy families celebrate each other's success rather than competing for limited attention and resources. Walking away from my parents' house that night with Madison's graduation cap in my trembling hands had seemed like an ending, but it was actually the beginning of the life my family deserved, and the relationships we'd been prevented from building while accommodating dysfunction and favoritism. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for people you care about is refuse to enable their destructive choices while demonstrating that better alternatives are possible through accountability, effort, and genuine respect for each other's potential and dignity. What family boundaries have you had to set to protect your own peace and growth? Have you ever had to choose between keeping family harmony and standing up for what you truly believed was right? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If this story resonated with you or reminded you of your own family challenges, please give it a like to help others find it who might need to hear this message. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories about overcoming family drama and building the life you deserve. And please share this with anyone who might benefit from knowing they're not alone in dealing with toxic family dynamics. Thank you for taking this journey with me. And remember that you have the power to create the relationships in life that truly serve your happiness and growth, even when it means making difficult choices that others might not understand at first.